Hey guys, Dr. G here. Thanks for watching this short video. In this short video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what a doctor looks for when he's looking at an image of an MRI. And the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of you have sent me your images because you don't know what you're looking at. So this will give you a basic overview of the anatomy and what to look for when you're looking for problems in the low back, more specifically a herniated disc. So if you look at the picture on the left here, this is for reference only. We're looking at a picture that's looking sideways, looking to the left, and we have 5 vertebrae in the low back here where I labeled L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5. S1 would be the sacrum, which is basically the base of the spine. Here we have the front of the body labeled front and the back of the body labeled front. So now we're going to look on the right side here, and this is what the MRI will show as the spine. Again, we have the front here, the back here, and then we have each vertebra labeled L1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and S1. Now what we want to look for as far as disc injuries is we're looking for 3 things. We're looking for color, spacing, and also the border, the posterior border of the disc itself. So if we look at L1 here, the vertebra is the block here. Then we have a disc below it. The white area is a disc, and then we have L2, the other vertebra, right below it. So in between every 2 vertebrae, we have a disc. And when I say we're looking for color, we're looking for a white color on an MRI image. That shows us that there's plenty of fluid in that disc, which is a good thing. When there's plenty of fluid, it helps us to shock absorb our body weight. It also helps to separate the vertebrae from each other, and this is important because the closer each vertebrae get to each other, the more chances you have of a pinched nerve. And we're also looking at the posterior border, the back border. This would be the front of the vertebra over here, and this would be the back of the vertebra over here. So this white area is cerebral spinal fluid, which is where your spinal cord and spinal nerves originate from. And usually what happens with a herniation is that a disc is weakest at its posterior margin. So usually the fluid in here with a herniation will push back, and we'll look, what we want to look for is a little black bubble that pops out in the back here into that white space. And what that means is that there's a herniation pushing back, and if it pinches a nerve, then you can have sharp pain in the low back. And because the nerves in the low back travel down to the legs, sometimes you may feel pain radiating down your leg, as is the case with sciatica. When it hits the sciatic nerve, when a herniation hits the sciatic nerve, then you can feel pain traveling down the leg. So this is what a normal MRI would look like. Now we're going to compare a normal versus one that is not normal. So here we go. So this is normal. This is the same one I just showed you. As I said, we're looking for 3 things. We're looking for color, spacing, and also the posterior margin of a disc. So start off with color. We're going to compare the left MRI image to the right MRI image. And we're going to focus over here on L5S1, the disc right here. If we look at the color of L5S1, you see the white in there, which means it's healthy. It has a lot of fluid in there. It's a healthy disc. Next thing you want to look for is space. Is there space in between each vertebrae? As you can see right here, there's plenty of space in between, and you can compare all the way up. The spacing in between the vertebrae is about the same. And then we look at the posterior margin. We're looking for little bumps, and we don't really see many bumps in here. Everything's looking pretty good. And now when we compare it to the right side, again, let's look at the color. The first thing we look for is color. You see L5S1 down here. It looks grayish to black, so that's not a good sign. We want white color in there, and that means there's plenty of fluid in there. The second thing we're looking for is space. Look at the space between L5 and S1. This space over here is less than the space between L4 and L5. The space is diminished, which means the disc is either degenerated or the fluid in there is being pushed out somewhere else. And also we're looking at the posterior margin of the disc. As you can see right here, look at this little bubble right here. This little bump sticking out means that there's a disc herniation at L5S1. If that person is suffering from pain in the low back that also travels to the leg, then we know that that herniation is pinching nerves that are causing that problem. So there you have it, guys. Just a basic overview of what a doctor is looking for when they're looking at an MRI image, and just giving you a little bit of the anatomy so that you can understand what the image shows. Of course, every time you have an MRI done, the image is sent to a radiologist, and they're the experts, so you would go by what they see and what they write down on their MRI report. But this just gives you a better understanding of what you're looking at if you're confused, and hope that helps. In the meantime, if you like the information, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you leave your comments and questions below. And if you're suffering from herniated disc, low back pain, or sciatica, make sure you visit my website, painfreeinstitute.net, where I show you different ways to treat this naturally, without surgery, without injections, and without addicting painkillers. Thanks for watching and have a great day.